How do you feel about, say, the next generation of Indian comedy?
Next generation. Wow, I never looked at it that way, man. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think so. There is a generation concept in Indian stand-up as such. I didn't mean it like that. I think that we are so new, yeah. I started in 2014, part-time. 2016 is full-time, which is what? If you say 2016 is when I started full-time. Abhi kya hai, 2022, 6 years.
Yeah.
6 years in any industry is not a generation.
Hello, I'm Bhanesh Kapil, and this is the DeadAnt chat room with comedian and newly minted life coach Rahul Subramanian. Hello, Rahul. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Vanush. Thanks for having me. How are you?
I'm good. How are you enjoying your stint as a bad advice agony aunt? You've been doing a lot of that stuff on Instagram these days.
I've been enjoying that's the way of life. I've been that way throughout. People are seeing value in it for some reason. People are seeing value in no value. That's internet for you.
The other thing I noticed recently is you appear to be going viral on LinkedIn quite often.
Did you notice just now?
Yeah, well,
I must say,
I don't check LinkedIn much.
DeadAnt needs to up their game, man. It's been over 3 years.
So, what value do you see in LinkedIn as a social media platform? And is it a different challenge to try and appeal to that audience?
So I'll tell you how I started being active on LinkedIn around 3.5 years back. Okay. Now this is the first time I was active on LinkedIn ever. Even when I was working as a corporate, it was just for resumes, and it was when I had I think around 3.5 years. I don't know the exact time, but I had quit Twitter because it was getting too much. It was taking too much mind space, and I was getting too disturbed with whatever I was reading. I used to use Twitter to post jokes, like one-liners. It's like it's an exercise. Every day, kuch na kuch dalo. It doesn't matter how good or bad the joke is. It's about training your mind. So जब Twitter से निकल गया, I needed another vent, and one of my college friends said, "Hey, you post sometimes you post office jokes. Why don't you post on LinkedIn?" I was like, "Oh, you can do that. You can post stuff on LinkedIn apart from job applications." Like, yeah, that's how I started posting on LinkedIn. And yes, I had to just ensure that I joke only about the corporate life, but it was still the mental exercise. Right? So that's how I started, and yeah, I started getting viral. And I was like, "Oh, this is great." And then a lot of byproducts later. Because I got popular in LinkedIn, I'm guessing I also got brand deals, corporate shows, and all that through that. But that was not the aim why I joined. But it's something I'll take. So now I'm a proper LinkedIn user. I'm a I don't know what is the Instagrammer equivalent of LinkedIner that I am.
That's a good one.
I have more followers on LinkedIn than Instagram. Did you know that? Fun fact.
I did not. That is very impressive.
Yeah.
So, coming to stand-up, you've been doing a lot of crowd work recently. I think you also did a tour, which was largely crowd work. So, is this something that you've found a lot more interest in during the pandemic?
No, yaar, I started doing crowd work shows before the pandemic. Here's what happened. Kal Main Udega happened, and then I was writing my new R. And then I had a new R, which was supposed to be called Is This Even Comedy? I started touring it. So Green Revolution, run by Rohan Desai and Srimay Das, they have comedy venues in Bombay, very nice venues, and they do a lot of alt comedy stuff. So one of the times they did a crowd work night or something, and I've done that a few times. It's fun, right? Because stand-up generally you don't do crowd work. Happens only when there is some disturbance, someone says something. It's a 5-minute break or 2-minute break. It's not a part of it, right? In the sense, and then you can always go back. If it doesn't work, you can go back to your jokes because you know that. So when I started doing crowd work, I had fun, okay? And it was like fun time pass. Then Rohan and Srimoy one day said, "Rahul, you clearly enjoy this. Why don't you consider doing a 1-hour crowd work show?" I was like, mad, what? Who does 1 hour of crowd work, right? And of course, there are people who have done it in the West, but I was like, okay. And I think Daniel Fernandez used to do it, Pele. So I'm like, okay, I'll try. And I tried it, and it was fun, and it was a good break from doing stand-up for such a long time. The thing about stand-up, ऐसा हो गया, इतना कर लिया था कि the more I do stand-up, I was like, I know the rhythm, I know the pause, I know everything, right? So this was a good break when I don't know anything where the jokes will come. So I started dodoing that. I did a few 1-hour shows. I enjoyed it a lot. Started doing more of it. And then I was like, people come to a crowd work show, they don't know what crowd work is, right? And of course, they're a little I mean, it's intimidating because although you put crowd work show, you put this in the description, you put Instagram stories, who reads all of that? You just see poster mein naam and they come. Na? So I was like, let me just post a couple of videos. So that's why I shot in Bangalore a crowd work show where we took consent forms. Everything we made people understand. This is what is the format. Everything from ticket link to description to me promoting, explaining what crowd work. And people came, and then I recorded those videos. And then those videos did well, the crowd work show video. And then people started coming to shows knowing what crowd work is already. Then it was more fun. It's more fun. So then I started doing it, and then got signed with an OTT platform for crowd work special. Can't name the platform. It's not Alt Balaji. That's all I can give you. And I started doing shows and leading. So it was supposed pre-pandemic. I was supposed to submit the special, right? And crowd work for me to deliver crowd work, I need a lot of practice. In the sense, it is about the mental zone, right? And so I had done a lot of tour, and I was ready to figure out. Pandemic happened, we couldn't do it, so it was lull. So wo hua. So that's why it kept getting pushed, and then finally now we got a nice stretch of time when I could. That's why I did my Europe tour. Uske pehle thoda India shows to get into the zone, and then okay, I can deliver it. So it was supposed to end 2020. I was supposed to give, and I was supposed to start working on my stand-up special. But yeah,
COVID-19. So is this special going to be like a single crowdwork special, or are you sort of taking bits from a tour? Because how?
Oh, no, it's a single crowd. It's a crowdwork special. There's one special, but it consists of bits from multiple cities.
Okay.
So I do a crowdwork. I do a tour. See, the thing is now, one of the biggest challenges was all of this sounds easy, and and it's also hey, crowdwork mein kya hai? Kuch prepare nahi karna hai. It's so exhausting because everything you can't take it from one show.
Yeah, I was wondering because how do you make 60 minutes of crowd work engaging to an audience that's not there also, which is the bigger challenge, I think.
Kaise kare, because stand-up shows, how we'll shoot. Everything is defined. The content is set. So you do the same thing with same clothes in the same venue twice or thrice, and then you take the best performance bits and you put them together. And crowd work, you can't do that. Forget, not just you can't put, because how do you put 1 hour ka crowd works you shoot? How can you put 1 hour from that? And not all conversations are interesting. Yeah. Some conversations are interesting. It's a up, aise upar niche to hota hi rehta hai. So, and there's just one take with one person. In that, everything has to come together. You have to be at top of your game. The person you're talking to has to be really engaged and having fun. You should not mention anything from the show which happened before, because that might not, there's no context to that. Yeah. So it's unlike just doing a crowdwork show where no one is recording, where I can go all out. I can do whatever. I can reference. I can jump from one person to another. There can be callbacks from other parts. That you can't afford to do all of that. So that was the challenge. So the challenge was, how do we do that? Biswa is the creative director, and I am so fortunate that he agreed to do this. And it's the best decision ever, because Biswa does not take up projects unless he can commit to it. He is no nonsense person in that way. So one of the first things we decided, how do we do it? Because mere mind mein tha, also production costs are, I don't know, people know about it, but production costs are damn high, man. So when we used to do एक special, मतलब एक venue book करो, उसमें 2 show करो, उसमें production cost इतना हो जाता था with all lighting. Now, if you have to do multiple cities, if there are 6 cities I'm doing, the total पैसा जो मुझे मिल रहा है is not 6x ना from a special. So how do we do that? So one of the first things was we can't do same city 3 shows. अलग-अलग कपड़ा पहन के, that doesn't work. Crowd work is about the whole point of crowd work is you have to feel natural. You're supposed to go out and do your stuff the way you want, and we need to have enough content so that we get the best content, and we can also be अरे हाँ इसमें वो ऐसा मतलब referencing ज़्यादा हो रहा है तो we remove it. We need enough options to choose. So that's why like we have to do multiple cities. Also, while watching, for people also visually, it should be like, oh, there's change should keep happening, right?
I think the content also then changes, right? You have a wider array of people in your.
Yes. But you will be surprised, Bhanuj, how repetitive you can get as a performer, which you don't realize when you're doing individual shows. And when I'm saying repetitive, not about the same jokes, right? Utna to awareness hai when you do so much crowd work that you won't crack the same jokes. The moment I've already done something like this, you'll stop yourself or you will just go in one direction and then you'll like, no, you'll be like, oh, this is not spontaneous. This is I've got from somewhere else, and I'll stop it. But even in the line of questioning,
Yeah.
when you talk to the conversations, even if there are completely two different people, but say both of them are from the same background, and then you talk to one person in Bombay, then you talk to other person in Calcutta, you realize that it's going similar. Although they are having fun in Kolkata, they're having fun. But when you put it together, that's the biggest challenge. How for an audience you show them 1 hour of content which is different, right? So there were a lot of times like there are like 4 great bits. All of them brilliant. Everything else, all other rules followed. Like no callback to anything else that happened in those shows. No references. As an individual piece, they're great. But all 4 of them similar type of background we are talking to. So if I put the same thing as it won't be fun to watch.
Yeah.
So that was a very big challenge. And that's why like doing multiple shows gives you that option set to pick from.
And so, like you said, you can't go into a crowdwork show prepared at all. So were there moments where, like the audience response left you completely wrong-footed? Or like, or you had to really sort of push yourself to be able to, come up with a response in time and make it work? Any particular
Happens all the
moments when
time. Happens all the time. I mean, it's no like any crowd work show you attend, it'll happen. There are times when you get stumped. There are times when you have nothing to say. There's nothing funny coming to you. But again, so there are these. This is a I approach. For me, it's very important that the conversation flows rather than it's funny or not. The moment you start focusing on funny, you won't get it because then you're too focused on it, and then it's not spontaneous. So you have a conversation. The idea is to try and have a conversation, and it's not. I have to keep drilling it into my head. Like have a normal conversation. If there's nothing funny, it doesn't matter. Just take the story forward, take the conversation forward. Like we are having a conversation, and then just back yourself that you'll find something funny. So it's a what do you call it? You have to mentally wire yourself to keep doing that. Focus on the conversation, not on the jokes, and just trust yourself. The jokes will come, and you will be surprised that there are so many parts of a crowd work bit in which there might be no jokes, but it's just conversation that takes it forward, and it's absolutely okay. While you watch it, it's very interesting. The expectation is not like a stand-up bit ki har second joke आता रहने right? That's what happens if you edit it. Like if you see my crowd work video, it's also edited a lot. That's not how the show flow was. When the show flow happens, it's fun for people in there because they know the context. But when you put it up essay on YouTube, they'll be like, "Arey, abhi itna kya beech mein dal?" So you edit it, correct? You edit the bits a bit to remove the fluff and stuff. But that's the challenge in this special. One of the things that we really wanted to do was edit as little as possible. We were like, let's give them, they should see how it happens. You know what I mean? They should experience the whole thing. And touch wood, I'm very happy with the kind of bits that we have got. They flow. They're very minimum in that content edits as such. And as a whole, it works.
And so now that this is when this will be out, does the focus shift back to the stand-up hour that you had?
I'm also doing a US tour of crowd work show because so there's a lot of people in US who want to see. Like I don't know, for some reason people want to see my crowd work, in the sense that I think now if I start doing stand-up, they'll be like, "Hatao yaar isko." Maybe. But I do want to get back to stand-up because I'm done. I'm exhausted. Crowd work is too exhausting. It is like It's so weird. If you don't do a lot of crowd work, you're not in the mental zone. So you have to do a lot of crowd work to get better. But once you do a lot of crowd work, then you run out of ideas. Your line of questioning, everything is same. Then you have to take a break. It's just exhausting. And 1 hour of crowd work versus 1 hour of stand-up. 1 hour of stand-up, mein kya hota hai, everything is fixed. I know my content, right? So there are times I can mentally take a break. Although I'm physically and I'm performing, I know the beats. So I can mentally switch off for a while, because I exactly know where the pause is, where it's where I'll get a laugh, what I'm waiting for, how I have to change my tone. Crowd work, you're constantly focused. Because first 15 minutes of good crowd work is not guarantee that the next 45 minutes is good crowd work, right? First 15 minutes of the stand-up, if it goes great, momentum is on you, and then it's like high chances that you'll end well. But not with crowd work. You have to, even a great joke or a great conversation is no guarantee that the next conversation will be that good. So the focus is there. And I've done so many shows. Europe, I did because I wanted to prepare, and then India, we did, and even for the crowd work special, we did like multiple cities, 6 cities, and then I was exhausted by the end of it. So I will be doing the US tour. Uske baad, I want to get back to stand-up because I feel now I'm missing stand-up. When I started doing crowd work, I was like, yeah, kitna alag hai. That's what attracted me, right? Yeah. Like such a nice change from stand-up. Now I want to change from crowd work, and yeah. But I have to tell you this, what I'm truly excited about is that this is India's first ever crowd work special, unless I'm mistaken. At least it's India's first crowd work special on an OTT platform, right? Proper high production one with multiple cities, or is it not?
I mean, Veers is on Netflix, but again, that was digitally recorded. It's a Zoom. Veer Das.
Oh, Veer ka it's a crowd work. It's a crowd work special. Yeah. Okay, fair. It's India's first live crowd work special on an OTT platform, right? The reason I'm saying it is not because of this first one. The reason I'm saying is that there is no precedence. There was no precedence for me to look at, right? I've not seen Danny's work. So when I'm doing a stand-up special, there are so many references. I know there are so many people advising, choose a good venue. It makes a big difference. It's okay. It's okay if the venue is a good comedy venue might not be a good video venue and stuff like that. No, there are so many pointers you get. Do multiple shows, stuff like that. There was no precedent, so we had to figure everything out. I was planning to do it 3 days, shoot in Bombay, and just same venue, just change clothes. And then that's when Biswa was like, no, this doesn't work. It can't be. We have to change settings. We have to go to multiple cities. Things like that. So all of these we discovered, or we had a way which we realized as we went along. And for us, that the whole journey has been remarkable in the sense that kuch bhi nahi pata tha na. Everything like a good crowd work. Ek show gaya, acha gaya. This means nothing. This adds zero to where we are. Even after all the shows are done, means nothing. Now the biggest part is to select which bits you want to put, and there are so many good bits that you will have to give away. And that choice, which was never there in a stand, it's a good choice to have, but it's a very tough thing because kaise choose kare yaar? There are some moments in this bit is so much better, and you have to sacrifice, right? That way, India being India's first crowd work live special on an OTT platform with no precedence, I think that was the major part of it, and I really hope that people like it when they see it, because unlike Kal Mein Udega, wherein there's no, I know I just wanted people to see the set and know whether they like it or not. Here, it's something that I'm more excited about than Kal Mein Udega. It's something that I like way more than Kal Mein Udega as it stands, and I hope it gets translated to people. People also see the effort and what it has the time that has gone to make something like this. Because isme ye hai कि when people see it, they might not realize it, that how every conversation is different, and how much effort has gone into ensure that every conversation is different, because the idea is they see it and they don't find anything repetitive. You know what I mean? It's They should not find anything repetitive without realizing that there has been an effort gone. That will be the success. So I know I spoke a lot. Yeah.
Oh no.
I'm way more excited about this than the previous one. You know what I mean? There way more variables here than the previous one. Journey of making it has been so fruitful.
So way more excited, but also a little bit nervous.
Nervous though, for sure. But I'm happy. Like we are happy with what we have got.
And so off the stage, you have done a lot of sketch comedy. You got a random chicky bum with KV also, but not much has happened over the last year. I'm guessing you've also been busy. So is that something you're looking to return to?
I mean, our KV is super lazy, man. I don't know how I can get him to work. The fame, man, the fame's got into his head. No, I'm kidding. So we need to. We love doing sketches, and that's one thing again. Random chicky bum we have put up stories so many times that okay, we're going to start something and we don't start. So I don't want to do that again. But internally, we are like the moment my crowdwork special is done, we want to set up a team and start shooting sketches for YouTube, like random chicky bum. But until it happens, we don't know. But the intention is that we really loved shooting sketches, and you have no idea. We have like at least 50 sketched scripts ready from like last 4 years. We have written, we have loved it, and these are the ones we have to shot. We've never got to.
So you also got the Kuch Bhi podcast that you guys are working on with a bunch of people. So how is that coming along? That's also a pretty slow process, I think.
That's extremely slow process. That's what we want. No, that's Rohan Desai's brainchild, first of all, that podcast. Yeah, we want to do it more often. But the thing is, there is also no pressure on people that we have to do it. So we keep trying to find time to do it together. But it's such a no pressure stuff that we take our time. But yeah, and it's a very niche audience. We love whenever we record, we have a great time because it's so absurd. I don't know if you've heard any of it. It's so absurd, and we are so committed to the character, and it's very unique. So we love it. So, but it's a no pressure thing. So we take time. I'm telling you, Rohan Desai will message one day. Hey guys, what about tomorrow? Should we? Next week, are you guys free? Yeah, let's do it Monday next week. And for Monday, I will. I'm so sorry, guys. I have to. Something else has come up. No problem. We'll do it next week. So ऐसे होता रहता वो. But
you would also mentor on season 3 of Comicstaan.
Yeah. On Amazon Prime Video. Here I can reveal what OTT platform. Yeah.
So how is that experience? And how do you feel about, say, the next generation of Indian comedy?
Next generation. Wow. I never looked at it that way, man. Yeah.
Actually, to be fair, as our review pointed out, some of those guys have been around for quite a while. But I mean, in terms of like where comedy is.
No, I didn't mean it in that sense. I don't think so. There is a generation concept in Indian stand-up as such. I didn't mean it like that. I think that we are so new. Yeah, I started in 2014, part-time. 2016 is full-time, which is what? If you say 2016 is when I started full-time. Abhi kya 2022, 6 years. Yeah. 6 years in any industry is not a generation.
And technically it's 4 years because the COVID years don't count.
Exactly. I was a brand manager. Generation used to be these guys who has been a brand manager for 20 years. So I think, I mean, all of them, the one thing coming back to Comicstaan season 3, first of all, I didn't know how to mentor because it's never done it. And it's very weird to tell people how they're supposed to do comedy, right? It's like a corporate show brief. The corporates tell comedians how to do comedy. It's very weird. But then I realized I can't do that. You can't tell them how to do comedy because everyone has their own style of comedy. So my whole aim was, to be honest, try and give them confidence about what they are doing. It was not so much about essay karte comedy. This is the way to do it. And there are so many. I'm telling you, it was so much fun. We did an exercise firstly. My idea was, how do I try and get their best out of themselves, right? So anecdotal. So I was like, यार Comicstaan में तो time limit होता है, so which means you have to pack punchlines, story move नहीं होता, कुछ नहीं. Like unless you're doing a special, 15 minute का set कर लो. So I was like, first remove this competition out of your head. We did an exercise wherein I like so me and all contestants will sit one by one. They will go. They will talk about their story, and there's no time limit. There's nothing. You can say whatever. You just build as if you're talking to friends, and we're just listening. And you have no idea how much they were freer when they were talking, and how much all of them are funny in their in normal conversations. So each of them, at least I think, did 15 to 20 minutes of a story, which ended up being 4 minutes. But 15, they just spoke. And while they're speaking, as comedians, naturally you like making stories, you like exaggerating. It was so much fun, that experience. I did it too. So all of us did it. So by the end of it, what we realized was, look, all of you are funny. It's just like, if you have enough time, if you have the complete freedom to tell your story the way you want, there is no right way, but it's all funny. And they all like, yeah, this is so funny. And so what time wala pressure had gaya unse. And I was like, yeah. So that was, I think that's the only thing I tried to drive in. Like, I want you to know you're funny. It's got nothing to do with the outcome of Comicstaan. You're funny, right? Irrespective of what happens. And I think, yeah, that's all. I can't tell them what to. It was fun. It was also very tough, because it's very tough. Mentoring. You don't know what to say. I have so much.
But have you added mentor to your LinkedIn now?
No, man. I am a demotivational speaker on LinkedIn. Not a mentor yet.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Right. So I think we're running out of time. Before we leave, I had one more question. When I was researching this, I came across a random interview with a writer named Madhurima Guruji, who is apparently writing a novel where one of the lead characters is based on you.
Uh-huh.
And she's been coming to your shows to do research. How does that make you feel? And do you have a message for Madhurima and anybody else who wants to turn you into a
It's very overwhelming, but I don't know how to react beyond that, because you know what? So she's come to my shows also. She's told me in one of the show in Crowdwork, she said, I didn't know how to react, honestly, because it's extremely overwhelming. All I can I tell her is all the best, because I have zero credit in what she's writing, right? But then that person makes you feel like, it's the central character is inspired by you, and I'm like, shit, that's too much pressure, too much stake. So I'm treating it as like any other novel that's coming out. I'm like very happy. I'm very thankful, grateful that she's doing it. But yeah, I really don't know how to react. But beyond that, it's too overwhelming. Yeah. Interviews also, like this interview. Please put this part. I hate doing interviews, by the way. I hate interviews, and I'll tell you the reason also. And this is one more example of it, because as a comedian, we love talking. So we talk so much, and then we realize that later, half of the things we have said is not true, or it's not honest. In the flow of talking, we talk. So there are so many times I've read my interviews that I've given Pele, like 2018. I just go through that and I can't read it. I'm just so ashamed. It's like, ये क्या बोल रहा है? ये तो सच है भी नहीं. You know what I mean? In that flow. So yeah, so that's why I generally say no to interviews. But here I was like, made a crowdwork special, which I thought was the first crowdwork special but by an Indian comedian, but it's not. But it's the first crowdwork. Hey, Veer is international, yeah. So let's get Veer out.
Yes, fair enough.
Yeah.
But DeadAnt bursting bubbles since 2019. Thank you so much, Rahul. This has been a pleasure. And we look forward to seeing the crowdwork special when it's out.
Yes, one small, in case I would like shout out to the team. Crowdwork special. It's a very lean team that we've been working with. Akshay is the DOP. It's like, again, any crowdwork, any stand-up special you see, there'll be a huge team. And first day, Biswa was like, no, we are not. We need 4 people. That's all. 4 people, 3 cameras. That's all. We are not doing more. This is all. So Akshay Pillai is the technical director, DOP. Sachit was the EP. Sachit Ramesh. Naman is my manager who's helping around, and Biswa was the creative director, and Eric is the one editing it. So yeah, this I can tell you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Banush. Thanks for having me. And hope once you edit this out, it looks as if I'm very coherent and focused and someone with great thoughts.